Welcome back to Best Way to Smoke Weekly News. I'm your host, Big J, bringing you the news that you can't refuse. Now, if you've been keeping up with the legal landscape lately of what's going on in the cannabis industry, the looming cloud over a couple of things Americans hold dearly, their Second Amendment rights and their choice, let's call it the green relaxation. You know what I'm saying? We know what it is. The storm is finally breaking. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosions, the ATF is about to change up their playbook. The High Court drops a unanimous decision. So here's the deal. Just a couple of days ago, the Supreme Court came through with a flat-out unanimous 9-0 decision in a case called United States versus Hamani. They basically looked at the federal government and said, you cannot automatically strip someone of their gun rights just because they use a little marijuana. Ain't no question, man. Let's make this thing fair and keep it right. We all still should have the right to protect ourselves and protect our families. The case focused on a Texas man named Ali Hamani. The feds tried to hit him with a heavy felony charge under an old 1968 law, specifically 18 U.S.C. Section 922, which makes it illegal for an unlawful user of a controlled substance to own a gun. But the Supreme Court wasn't buying it. Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote the opinion and made it real plain. The government argument failed. Under every measure, you can't just categorize millions of peaceful cannabis users as dangerous without an actual proof that they are a threat.
The government said that violated a federal gun control law that prohibits people who, basically use controlled substances, unlawful users of controlled substances, from owning a gun. And he was looking at 15 years in prison for this. So in the ruling today, which was unanimous, or at least the justices all agreed on the outcome, the justices said the government just went too far, that just because someone smokes marijuana a few times a week doesn't make them any kind of habitual user, kind of some of the historical terms that they say they had to really be grounded in to be prosecuted for. This was a big win for Mr. Hamani, and the government's broad interpretation of this federal law really could have gone a lot further, like the court said.
Let's talk about it. In these circumstances, marijuana use today is like alcohol use. It is widespread and increasingly considered socially acceptable in many quarters. Here's the ATF's next move. The guidance is coming soon. Naturally, everyone looked at the ATF to see what they're going to do next. And right on cue, the agency hopped on social media to clear the air. They announced they are actively reviewing the Supreme Court's ruling, assessing exactly how it impacts federal enforcement. Come on, let's get it going. The headlines here. The ATF promised that updated formal guidance will be issued soon to reflect the new legal reality. We're going to read it between the lines. Now, let's be real for a second. This doesn't mean it's completely a free-for-all just yet. Supreme Court kept this ruling pretty narrow. They didn't completely kill the federal ban, just all drugs. And they made sure to point out that they aren't talking about active substances, addicts, or people walking around carrying weapons while they are actively intoxicated. If you're putting people in danger, the law is still coming for you. Ain't no question, as it should. But for responsible adults who live in one of the many states where it's legal and maybe enjoy a gummy to help them sleep at night, this is a massive sigh of relief. It closes a loophole where everyday citizens were being treated like high-level felons just for exercising a constitutional right in their own homes. Unusual alliances standard on this one too. You had the ACLU and the NRA standing side by side, sharing this victory. When those two agree on something, you know history is going to be made. This is definitely something to pay attention to. If you're a cannabis user, you shouldn't be stricken of right to bear arms. Even when it comes to people convicted of certain crimes and they can't actually get their rights back to actually own firearms to be able to protect themselves and their families, there should be change with that too. But we're going to stick with the script. We're waiting to see exactly how the ATF rewrites their rule book in the coming weeks. But the tide has officially turned. Stay safe, stay smart, and keep it locked in right here. I'm Big J, and I'm out.